What would it take to rise above a crisis that has the potential to divide an entire society? What would it take to resist the temptation to turn against one another in a time where prejudice seems to grow with every tragedy? What would it take for a community to face disaster time and time and time again, yet emerge from the wreckage stronger than ever before? What would it take? Well, that is the question. And it's the question that I've been asking myself ever since September 16th, 2016, the day an unarmed Black man and citizen of Tulsa was shot and killed by a Tulsa police officer. When news broke out about Mr. Terrence Crutcher's death, I was heartbroken. My heart broke for the Crutcher family, but also for those law enforcement officers who did nothing wrong, but from that moment on would have a target just painted on their back. My heart broke for the entire city of Tulsa because, come on, we all know the response and the routine following an event like this, right? Police dance around the facts, people bus into a city to riot, and Tulsa is no stranger to the violence of riots. And all the while, the media just fuels the fire that is literally tearing families and communities apart. I braced myself for the inevitable, but the inevitable never came, which led me to a new question. Why? I mean, why didn't Tulsa crumble and burn under such a potential crisis? And, well, what can we learn? Well, there's many factors that come into play when answering this question, but there's two factors that stand out, and both of these factors are founded solely upon the reactions that came from the city of Tulsa. You see, immediately after Mr. Crutcher's death, the police made it a point to keep the public informed and updated concerning the dire situation. The Tulsa police chief, Chuck Jordan, quickly addressed the city by saying, "I want to assure our community, and I want to assure all of you and the people across the nation who are going to be looking at this, we will achieve justice." Period. The video was released to the public within only 3 days of the event, and having already seen the footage himself, Jordan publicly called it disturbing and difficult to watch. Now, this prompt and compassionate response from police did show a respectable level of transparency, and although it couldn't change what occurred, it did help to diffuse the situation and show the community that they understood the weight of the circumstance. Their transparency is our first factor, and it was key in keeping order and communication in such a high-stress time. Now, although transparency must be used properly, timely transparency in situations like this could mean the difference between dialogue and destructive behavior that could cost people their very lives. But transparency alone is not enough. And neither is simply giving someone the opportunity to dialogue because, well, the truth is, admit it, you know before you even watched the video, if you even watched the video, you already made a decision as to what happened, why it happened, and what you thought about it. And I know I'm right because, well, Because if I were being honest, I did too. It's hard not to. But this leads us to our second factor. I want you to look around. Go ahead, just take a minute. Look around at everyone in the room here. Do you know what you're seeing? I mean, do you know what you're looking at? You are looking at the second reason why Tulsa was able to rise above such a crisis. It's because of the response that came from its community. It's because of the response that came from the person sitting right beside you. The grief from Mr. Crutcher's death is undeniable. However, instead of rioting, vigils were held. Instead of violence, unified praying occurred. And instead of falling apart, the city of Tulsa came together. People gathered to express their hurt and their frustration and their desire for change, but in a peaceful and powerful manner. Peaceful community expression, ladies and gentlemen, is our second factor. It's an advocate for real change that, if used by communities facing tension with law enforcement, can speak volumes over what hatred or violence could ever hope to accomplish. Because, see, there is no way to undo the heartache and loss of many, many lives. And change within police and citizen interactions is absolutely necessary. But the city of Tulsa proved that transparency and peaceful expression are the keys in holding us together while enduring truly difficult times. Because we have to understand that it's not the public versus the police, okay? It's not black versus blue, and it's not me versus you. No. The fate of our communities, our society, and our entire nation rests on the way that you and I, both in and out of uniform, react to a crisis. Thank you.